Yeah, okay. Great to have you back, Tim. This will be really fun. This episode is going to be about good to be bad. But first off, I'm going to start off with a bit of a history before this. And I'm going to start off with slip of the tongue. So, why I'm starting off with this is because this is really relevant to what David started to do in the 90s because of his voice and the strain on his voice. Because this album, he really starts to like scream his vocals and the tour like it's crazy on this live in Donington 1990. Like this is kind of hard to listen to because he screams like most of the vocals. It's really crazy, and he did that throughout the tour. So he really strained his voice, and I don't think he sounded the same. This really is a born again type of situation here where Ian Gillan really strained his voice on the recording and the tour. He like screamed everything.
Yeah.
It's the same here with David Coverdale. So yeah, so he really changed his style and his vocals after this.
That's a
But
good point. The Ian Gillan is a good comparison because I think in both of those cases, I think both of them, especially Coverdale, did permanent damage.
yeah, absolutely. Then we had like a couple of years where he wasn't really active. Then he got back in the studio with Jimmy Page of all people and did this album. And this is really great. We've talked about this on the channel before. Really good. So that is awesome album too. Then they released like the greatest hits in 94. And they did the equivalent tour to that too. And then in that lineup, you had like Denny Carmassi on drums, which he played on this album. You had Rudy Sars on bass. You had Adrian Vandenberg on guitar and everything. So this lineup kind of moved forward into the next album, which is Restless Heart. So yeah, and this is like this album wasn't released in North America and everything because he like they covered the fall out of love with Geffen and everything. They didn't really come along very well. So yeah, he released this album in Europe and Japan, and this is also really great. But I would consider this David Coverdale's solo album. I wouldn't consider this a Whitesnake album, even though it says Whitesnake and the Japanese versions only say Whitesnake. But this is like a solo album in everything but name. So I would call this a solo album. Then you had Into the Light in 2000, which is definitely a David Coverdale solo album. And yeah, this was very. If you thought like Restless Heart was like mellow, this is really mellow. So this is a huge change too. So this is definitely like a Coverdale solo project. So then you had in the newer lineup with Whitesnake and Doug Aldrich joining everything. You had that in like 2003, 2004. They started like touring the like their hits and everything, the back catalog. But before that, Doug Aldrich did an album with Dio called Killing the Dragon, which is a great album. A return to form for Dio. Really good. So that was something Doug Aldrich did before joining Whitesnake. And you had like this live album from the Killing the Dragon tour and everything. Then you have the Live in the Still of the Night, which was a CD DVD combo pack type thing. And yeah, it's really great. I love this. This is the repackaged version from the like 2025 box set.
Yeah.
Access All Areas is called. So, but the original cover is like the symbol from the '87 cover.
Like so many,
all
right?
Whitesnake albums looks
Yeah.
the same. So
Yeah.
yeah, but this is really great. And you also have Red Beach so Doug Aldrich and Red Beach joined at the same time, and this really kickstarted like Coverdale's and also Doug Aldrich like writing partnership. So this really started that, and you will see later a live album that features some new songs. But then, for a short period of time, Doug Aldrich joined back with Dio, and they did Holy Diver live. So they played the entire Holy Diver album live. This is in 2005, so this is after the Whitesnake thing. And he does this, and they have some other songs that they play too from the Rainbow Days and Black Sabbath. So He joins back with Dio. Then again, he joins back with Whitesnake, and they do like the Live in the Shadow of the Blues and the tour and everything. And this is the repackaged version for the box set, but the original version of this was like, I think it came with a DVD or something.
Yeah.
And it was like a double CD and it had 4 new songs, which now in the new version of Good to Be Bad, which they call Still Good to Be Bad, they feature those 4 songs as part of the album, both the remaster and the remix. So yeah, those 4 songs came originally from this, Live in the Shadow of the Blues. And then finally, we get to the Good to Be Bad album. I think what you have is probably an original CD.
Yeah, I mean, this was a surprise to me. I mean, I knew it was coming out. I was always keeping up with, the bands that I liked, and I knew there was actually a new album coming out. And you're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, Restless Heart was sort of like, yes, it said Whitesnake on it, but it really wasn't. David Coverdale's heart wasn't in it, calling it a Whitesnake album. This was a fully committed. This is a Whitesnake album. This is the new Whitesnake lineup, and I actually found this in my local Walmart, which I was kind of surprised. It was right there on the local racks, which most of these types of bands, in the modern era, you don't see them. But this was on SPV, which is not a label that I think even exists anymore. And it came with this slipcase, so it's got this banner on it. That's not a sticker, and it's a 2 CD set. And like you said, disc 2 has some of the live tracks from those earlier. I get all the titles of them mixed up, but and it's got one of the 4 songs, Ready to Rock. That was one of the 4 new songs, and of course, disc 1 is just the new album. And I remember seeing the DVD to Live in the Shadow of the Blues, or Live in the Still of the Night, or whatever they called it. And it's the first time that I'd heard Coverdale sing for quite a long time. And I remember being very impressed with how good he sounded. I remember thinking, wow, okay, he's had some time to rest up. And the other thing that I liked about it with this new Whitesnake lineup is that he's going back. Now he's doing Don't Break My Heart Again and Take Me With You, and a medley of Burn and Stormbringer. Like, he's doing songs that, I mean, yeah, Slip of the Tongue era was like, unless they remade it, it was all slided in 87, Slip of the Tongue. That's it. Maybe in Europe you got Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City, but that was it. So yeah, here they're doing Ready and Willing. Like it's like a full, it's all of his Whitesnake catalog. And this is the next logical step, a brand new album, which was, yeah, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. Almost 2 decades separate the 2 Whitesnake albums, if you don't count Restless Heart, which is, it's crazy how that it just took so long for him to get back into it. And I think for years he was not going to. He wanted to make the mellower solo albums, the Into the Light type of albums, but he put together a great lineup. I mean, it's funny, in typical Whitesnake fashion, there were still changes. I mean, we went from Tommy Aldridge to Chris Frazier on drums and back again, and a little bit of just a little minor. There was Uriah Duffy, and then he was replaced by there's so many names. The other bit, the Michael Devon, but the solidified lineup. You had Aldrich and Reb Beach. I mean, he had that 2 guitar team again, and I think Reb pretty much became his, especially after Doug left. I think Reb became sort of his musical director. So
yeah. I think Reb is officially like the band leader. Is the title for it. But so Good to Be Bad. I think this great like comeback album.
Yeah,
because I remember Coverdale saying like Dino Jelusic actually said like, oh, I love that album when it came out. It was such a great comeback album. And David was like, I never went away. I released a bunch of stuff in the 90s, and obviously I released the Into the Light, he said, also in the 2000 and everything. So he didn't feel the same way, but a lot of fans were like, yeah, this is a great comeback. And because Restless Heart wasn't really a Whitesnake album.
Yeah, like I said, this is fully committed to being,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Coverdale didn't stop recording,
Yeah.
but you know, to the average fan, they go into a store and like, I haven't seen a Whitesnake album for years. So,
Yeah.
and there was, if I recall correctly, it charted decently. There was quite a bit of buzz around it.
And especially in North America, this was like the follow-up to Slip of the Tongue, which is
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
really crazy to say.
Yeah.
But it essentially was, because Restless Heart wasn't released in North America.
No.
So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, so that was kind of my point with that whole introduction to show. Like there was like 2 decades with not a proper Whitesnake album.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though I think with the recent remix of Restless Heart, I think that became a Whitesnake album later. But at the time,
Yep.
not really. Not with
But
the
not
original.
not in real time. Like it, you know, for somebody like me, I was actively looking for it because I knew it was out. But you're trying to get people to, you know, average music buyers to walk into a store and see your album and buy it. This was it. This was the first time. Most of those people probably didn't put 2 and 2 together. Like when the Coverdale Page album was out, you know, if anything, they're like, oh, look what Jimmy Page is doing now. Not like, oh, that was a singer from Whitesnake. Because what people have to remember is that Whitesnake in North America was really only popular for a very short amount of time. They were really, really popular for a very short amount of time, and then they were gone. So,
Yeah.
you know, to the rest of the world, it's a different story. But in North America, yeah, this was a big deal. It was like, oh, okay, it's a new Whitesnake album.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that's very confusing, because I have had the original, like I had the deluxe, which came in a box, and it
Yeah.
had like the logo embossed in like a gold type finish.
Yes. Yeah.
I had that box, and that has like the original CD and everything. But the track listing on the remaster is different to the original, and
Yeah.
the remaster and the remix is also different. So it's not only like they added the 4 extra songs, the actual tracking order too is different. So
It's all
I think
reimagined. Yeah.
we're gonna go with your track listing of
Yeah.
the original, because
This vinyl is also an original, so it's got the same track listing as the CD. And to me, that's the track listing I'm used to.
yeah, and that's expensive. That's really hard to find the original. Same for Forevermore, which I did have the box set, the vinyl box set, the original one from 2011. I had that one, but yeah, I got rid of all my vinyl a while ago. So yeah, but I think we're gonna go with your track listing. So I'm not gonna read out the tracks. I think that's something you have to do, because mine is completely different. Because it will be very confusing if I go with this track listing and you are like, wait, that's not the next track.
Yeah. It starts out, the first 2 are the same, but for sure.
Yeah, but the rest is really so you can read out the tracks and we can start discussing them.
So the original track listing went: Best Years, Can You Hear the Wind Blow, Call on Me, All I Want, All I Need, Good to Be Bad. And actually, it's funny. There's a typo on here where you hold up it's the same on the slipcase. It just says Good to Be.
Okay.
For some reason. So Good to Be Bad, All for Love, Summer Rain, Lay Down Your Love, A Fool again, adding more love songs. Lay Down Your Love, A Fool in Love, Got What You Need, Until the End of Time. So 11 song album.
Like a 11 track album, right?
Yeah.
This is a 15 track album, so they added the 4 songs. But we're gonna start off with your track listing and the 11 tracks. Then afterwards we can do the 4 other songs. So yeah. What's the first track?
So Best Years. I mean, it just right out of the gates, the song just slams. It's like it's not like Crying in the Rain, but it is in that it's sort of like a heavy blues, very heavy blues song. It's got a really cool beat to it. And you know, Coverdale's back. Could be no one else. And it was cool to hear some new music from him, and in a heavier context than, you know, I mean, the last time I heard a new Whitesnake album, the first thing that came on was Don't Fade Away. This was not that. This was a slamming first track.
That was exactly what I was going to say. Like the last Whitesnake album had the opener Don't Fade Away. It's just really strange to use that as an opener. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
But yeah, this album starts with Best Years, which is a great, energetic, fun song. The lyrics are very positive too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great like comeback song too. Not only for the album, but just a great song. And I really do enjoy it. I love guitar playing. I think throughout the album, like Doug Aldrich and Reb Beach, just really great. Now, I always struggle with two guitar bands because I never know who plays what. I find that very difficult. Maybe in some bands, they are very like, okay, this guy plays the leads and the solos, this guy plays the rhythm guitars. I'm not too sure how it is here. I think Doug plays most of the solos. I'm not too sure.
I
He could
think,
be Reb.
judging from the live stuff, I think so, and I think Reb sort of stepped into his role after he left.
Yeah,
I could kind of pick out some passages because I'm a big Winger fan. I've been a fan of theirs since their first album. So Reb's got a style. So when he's doing sort of his trademark Reb Beach things, I can pick them up. But both of them are really good. I mean, rhythm and lead players. So David Coverdale, he likes that pyrotechnic. He likes those types of guitar players. I mean, I think John Sykes spoiled him for ever going back to just a Mickey Moody, Bernie Marsden type of guitar player.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, this is all of the, this song. I mean, for all of David Coverdale saying "I never went anywhere," this song is obviously designed to be a comeback for ears that haven't listened to anything from Whitesnake since the late '80s. To go, I remember this. I remember this sound, because nobody was making music like this in 2008. This was an alternative to the alternative.
yeah. And David stuck to his guns. He did the usual type of thing that he does with both the lyrics and the music also. So yeah, I can really respect that. So I think it's a great comeback. So great first song. What
Yeah.
is the next one?
Can You Hear the Wind Blow? And I think that's where the similarities end. This is just a classic hard rock song. It's not it's not what I would call a bid for radio play, but it is catchy. But yeah, no, this is one of the most memorable choruses on the album. It's got a big chorus. And again, nobody was doing music like this. It was really good to hear. It's so funny. I remember this distinctly. The day that I bought this at my local Walmart, I also bought Def Leppard's Songs from the Sparkle Lounge. They both come out around the same time. I bought them both. This is way better than Sparkle Lounge, in my opinion. I love both bands, but I'm probably a bigger Def Leppard fan than I am Whitesnake. But this is the better album, and this is the album I've listened to a lot more.
Yeah, this album definitely like eliminates Songs from the Sparkle Lounge.
Just no chance, Yeah,
there's no chance.
Didn't stand a chance, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Can You Hear the Wind Blow? I think it's such a great song. And yeah, when I think about this album and the songs, this is one of the first one that gets into my head. Best Years, Can You Hear the Wind Blow? The title track, and maybe some other stuff, like really get stuck in your head. And yeah, this is such a great song. Great solo too. I just really enjoy this one. So great song.
Yeah.
The next one.
The next one on the original album is Call on Me. So yeah, this is one where if you're just reading through the lyrics, like, which song is this? It's definitely David Coverdale. I always kind of wish that Coverdale had, we've talked about this many times, I always wish Coverdale had a lyricist to help him, not just a riff writer and a melody writer, because he does tend to, left to his own devices, there are certain lyrical things he returns to time and again. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it starts to wear after a while. But this song, I like it. It doesn't stick to me as much as the first two.
Yeah, same for me. And to your point, like, I think this is the start of David really recycling the lyrics over and over, and especially on Forevermore. But I think it's very much present on this album too. And yeah, I don't mind it too much, but listening to the album like yesterday, I could I hadn't heard it in a while, and I could predict what he was going to sing next.
Yeah, it's like predictive text, right? You type in the first line, it'll give you the second line.
Yeah,
mentally, and to me, that's not, people have said to me, well, I thought you liked this band. I do. It's because I like this band so much and familiar with their early catalog that I know this. I know this is happening. I'm not making it up. He does this. He'll recycle. They'll
Yeah.
remix and recycle and reuse chunks of phrases, and this song's full of them.
Yeah, and you know exactly what song it comes from
Yeah.
originally and everything. So yeah, yeah.
This one
Oh,
isn't as bad as Forevermore for that.
yeah, yeah. Forevermore is really like the
Yeah.
recycling of the lyrics, but yeah. Yeah, so Call on Me, I don't have too much to say, but I think it's a good song. I like the vocal melodies in it too, in the chorus. And yeah, I like the verses too. I think this is really like heavy, and yeah, I do like it. So it's good.
Yeah, and it's like when you revisit the album, if you haven't listened to it in a while, you're like, is this a ballad? Because you can't tell from the lyrics. But
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's a rocker.
Something I have to say, like I mostly listen to the remix version because I just really enjoyed like almost all the remixes that David and his team did like in the recent years. I just really do like them. But I think like the the drum sound on this, like on the remix, I think it's really loud. Like it's really punchy and really loud. And I listened to the original, and yeah, it's kind of the same, but not the same as the remix. So yeah, but I do kind of like that though. I think like the drums are louder in the mix than the guitars.
Which
So
is
yeah,
odd.
it's kind of odd, but it's not like super like noticeable.
It's not distracting.
It's not distracting at all, but I do like what's his name now again? The drummer on this?
Chris Frazier, and I recognize his name from he played on actually this connection. He played on Steve Vai's Passion and Warfare.
Mm. Yeah, and during the tour of this, didn't they change the
I
drummer?
think he was replaced by Brian Tichy.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, yeah. I was thinking of him actually on the album, but it's not him. So yeah. So yeah, I think this is just the overall sonics of the album. I had the original CD, and at the time I thought it sounded kind of muddy, but I think the remaster and the remix really clears it up. I don't know if you feel the same way about the original, but
I thought
yeah,
it sounded good. I thought it sounded, it was busy. It's a busy production, but to me,
it's probably the
it's
best word for it. Yeah.
it's not. I don't think it's as busy as the '87 album.
Oh
That's
no,
a
no,
that's
no,
a
no, no.
very, very, very dense production. Where you kind of like you're hearing the songs, but there's a lot of, I don't want to say noise, but there's just a lot of sonic information coming at you. It's not quite that like that here. I just think this was just a really competently produced album for its time, and it was kind of self-produced. I mean, I think from here on in, they were all sort of done in-house.
Yeah. So it is a really good sounding album, but I think it's even better with the remix and even the remaster too. I think sounds really good. So yeah, what's the next one, Tim?
So next one on this version is "All I Want, All I Need," which is a ballad. And of all of the ballads on this album, this was probably my favorite. And this is just that laid back sort of. It reminded me a little bit of "Too Many Tears" from Restless Heart, and it's got that sort of laid back feel. And Coverdale is I think he's using his vocals wisely here. It's that's more restrained. Kind of started on the Coverdale Page album with a song like "Take Me for a Little While," but I think this song is. I remember thinking at the time that in a earlier time this could have been a single because it's accessible and it's not too heavy for popular radio. But unfortunately, that's never going to happen. But I think I like this one the best out of all of this new batch of ballads. Again, lyrically, nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have a great point. Like the Coverdale Page album, as we talked about before, like that's really where his like hoarseness in his voice started to be noticeable, and you hear it on this song too. And I think it sounds really good. I don't
Yeah.
think that's a negative thing. I think it's really good.
No,
So
he's using that.
this song. I just really enjoy it because previously, before all these albums were remastered and reissued and everything remixed, I hadn't really heard this album too much. So I first heard this on the Love Songs compilation.
Okay, yeah.
And I really did enjoy it there. And also like Love Will Set You Free on the next album and everything. I just really, really enjoyed those. So that's the way I got introduced to most of these songs, also from the blues album Good to Be Bad and everything. So the trilogy, the Red, White, and Blues trilogy, was really my introduction to these later parts of Whitesnake with Good to Be Bad and Forevermore. And that's kind of interesting because most fans are probably your age or older and got introduced to them at the time when these albums were released. So it's kind of interesting that I got into them throughout this trilogy. So yeah, that's probably not a lot of people's introduction to the new stuff, but
Well,
yeah.
what was great about that trilogy is that Rhino put them out. That meant they were in the stores. I remember seeing them in the stores a lot. So there's probably a lot of casual fans, even if they were into the band back in the 80s, that picked those up because they looked at them and they saw, Love Ain't No Stranger and Is This Love and all these songs that they recognized. But these other songs that, I've never heard these before. I don't remember these songs, and might not realize that they were relatively newer songs. So that was a smart idea on his part. And that was sort of, I think, a prelude to, okay, you liked what we did with those. We're going to do the brand new albums again now that we got your attention.
Very, very smart. They were kind of like sampler albums in some ways. You get a taste of things to come, as David said. And it's nice to see that almost all the albums got remixed, though on these trilogy albums, they remixed songs from the 87 album and Slip of the Tongue, and those never got like full remixed album versions, because when they released those box sets, that was before they did this remix thing. Maybe Slide It In, it actually got a 2019 remix, and then Slip of the Tongue released after that box set, I think. So that was kind of the exception. But other than that, all the other albums from Slide It In forward have been remixed, except Flesh and Blood, of course. But
yeah, and a lot of that is because David does not have the rights to the pre-Slide It In stuff, which is a shame.
Right. Yeah,
because I would like to have heard what he could have done with those early albums.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. Like I just love the early years. We did an episode on that.
Yeah,
just love those albums. So that would have been great if he got the rights back. But now he's retired. I don't think he's gonna do much. I don't think we're gonna see a Cover Day Page box set. I don't think we're gonna see that.
Not at this point. I think if we were going to, we would have. So many of the anniversaries have gone by, and yeah.
The next song, Tim.
Next song on the original version is the title song, Good to Be Bad. I mean, it's a classic Whitesnake, attitude kind of song. And it's the type of lyric that he's been writing for years. And it's a turn of phrase that he loves, those turn of, it's good to be bad. And, and then bad to the bone. I mean, there he is. He's going back to, the Slide It In era. But it's good. I like the song.
I do really enjoy the very beginning where you hear like the guitar almost sounds like what do you call it, air horn, air siren, or whatever you call it. Yeah, and it sounds like this like warning alarm or something with the guitar in the beginning. I just think that's really cool. And then you have the dun 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 and the drums kick in. I just really, really like the song. It has a good kick to it, has a good tempo to it. I just really, really enjoy it. Coverday's voice, great. This is one of the highlights for me. I really like this song.
Yeah, there's an enthusiasm in his vocals here that is infectious, and it's easy to get. Like you're like, this is what I want to hear. This is Whitesnake. Yeah.
So the title track is really good. What's the next one?
Next one is All for Love, which is sort of a mid-tempo. It's quite fast, but it's a mid-tempo type of song. Not much of a chorus. And this gets into, it's just, I do it all for love. I do it all for love. Do it all for love. I'm going to crawl for love. It's not, I don't think it's enough to sustain a chorus. There's something there. There should be like a response line to that. It just sounds like there should be something more. And that's, that's kind of, and I remember at the time, John Sykes, was asked about, what he thought of, Whitesnake. He said it just sounds like a bunch of riffs that David put vocals on. Of course, he's going to say that, right? But
yeah.
I do think there's something there where John Sykes sort of made him maybe work a little harder. It's like, you've got a great track here. Let's make it a fantastic track.
Mm.
And I just think the chorus is a little bit lacking.
Yeah, I could agree with you. It's kind of undercooked in some
Yeah.
ways. And yeah, I do like the chorus though, but it could have been something
Well,
else.
this is like, this is me looking back, just as a fan. The
Yeah.
chorus as it is would have worked the first time around, but after that, he should have started adding things to it, like those extra little hooks. And by the end, like, I was reading, I've read people say that Dio would do that a lot. He would take the lyrics and he would sing them in a different way towards the end, and sort of like,
Yeah.
well, what's he doing now? It's almost like he's building verses out of his previous verses, but he's singing it in a different way. This just needs something else to just, it's not this, so it's just not the same chorus every time it comes around.
And Dio, at the very end, when his songs like start to fade out, that's also when he adds a lot of things. So,
Yeah, I mean, all the way back to, I don't know Elf, but all the way back to Man on the Silver Mountain, he does that. It's not just, singing the chorus as it was the first time.
yeah, you just want to turn up the volume.
Yeah.
You want to keep
He's
going.
expanding on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's the next one?
Slow it down again for the next one is Summer Rain, which I can describe this. It's a nice song. It's nice.
I like
it's similar to All I Want, All I Need. I like it. I don't think I like it as well as that song, but it's nice. This song I could have heard on Restless Heart.
Yeah, I do like that there are some tempo changes and throughout the album, that it's not only like this really mid-tempo to very fast songs like all the time. I like that it slows down a bit, and I do love Summer Rain. Coverdale's vocals are really, really good on this. He does this very, very well.
This type of song suits his suits the age of his vocal cords very, very well, and again, it's just like you're hearing it's like it's just so good to hear that voice on new material. You're like, this, I've missed hearing that voice, even if he's singing lyrics he's sung 1,000 times before. I'm glad he's back.
And I love that it starts acoustic and then it just builds and builds. I really enjoy it. So it's a great song. I also I think there's like an organ or something in the background at the end.
Yes, and that's a sort of an unsung hero of this album is this guy, Timothy Drury, who I think now maybe he's on Forevermore too. He really adds a lot to this. And I think that it's interesting that Coverdale saw fit to add a full-time credited keyboard player rather than just have somebody backstage or have it piped in or because that's the first time since John Lord that he's had a credited keyboard player. So but I think it adds to the fullness of the album.
And the crazy thing, when I saw Whitesnake on the very last the farewell tour, which I have the shirt here.
Yeah.
And I saw maybe in not the last show, but one of the last
shows.
One
of them,
yeah. I think they did one or two after this one in Sweden.
Yeah,
so that was crazy. I was so happy that I got to see them before they I think Tommy Aldridge got sick and some other people got sick.
Yeah, the last tour was plagued by all kinds of there's an interview with Reb Beach talking about how it was a disaster.
Yeah, but when I saw them, they had obviously Dino Jelusic, and they had this guy called Michele Lupi, I think he's called.
Yeah, he was it's like his name is spelled like it's Michelle, but he was in the band when I saw them in 2018 on keyboards and a lot of vocals.
They had these two keyboards set up at the stage. So both of these guys played keyboards, which was strange to see two keyboardists on the stage. For me, at least, I've not seen that before. So that's kind of interesting that they even built further on that. They had two keyboards. So a lot of layers to the sound. But what's the next one?
Next one is one of my favorites. Lay Down Your Love. Really like this one. I just think this is exciting. It's up tempo. It's hard rocking. To me, this is quintessential Whitesnake.
Yeah, this is one of the songs I forgot to mention. This is also one of the songs I think about when I think about this album. I just really, really like this one. It's great. Such a great song. Yeah, I don't have a lot to add to this. I just think it's a really solid, really great song. So
Yeah.
yeah. The next
The
one.
next one is A Fool in Love. You know, this is read the you read the lyrics, and I mean, at a certain point, you have to say, look, okay, the lyrics are the lyrics. Just listen to the song. I think it's okay. It's not one of my favorites. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I do also like this vocal. A fool in love again. Da, da, da. And also the guitar riff in this kind of sounds like Crying in the Rain.
Yes.
Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, da, da,
And
da.
that was probably, I can see Coverdale saying, you know, we need something like Crying in the Rain.
Yeah, yeah. This is definitely not close at all to what Crying in the Rain is. Not
No.
not the 87, not the 82 version, but I think this is a good type, Crying in the Rain type of song. I think
Yeah.
it's great for the album. It's something a bit different to the other songs, and yeah, I do really like it. So
To me,
yeah,
this is closer. This song is closer to the original 82, like the Saints and Sinners version of Crying in the Rain, where, say, Best Years is much more like the 87 version. It's just more slamming.
more
But
bombastic. Yeah,
yeah, and also more memorable.
yep, agreed. Next one.
The next one is Got What You Need, which, I mean, that kind of says it all. You know what this, you know, just what the doctor ordered. I'm a backdoor man. I mean, it's like he's got a checklist. And I say that as a fan. I don't want people to say, like, you know, you're complaining about David Coverdale's lyrics. I'm a fan. I wouldn't be talking about Whitesnake if I wasn't a fan. This is just another good, decent album track. It doesn't stand out, but I don't not like it.
I have to say, up to this point, I've liked all the songs. I don't like this one.
Yeah. It really doesn't do much.
It's a bit too much also. Yeah, I just don't resonate with it at all. It gives me nothing. I got what I needed out of it.
You know what? It sounds like the second to last song on an album.
Yeah.
You're not likely to get one of the highlights of the album this far into the track listing.
Yeah. Yeah. So this one I don't like that much, no.
And it ends with Till the End of Time, which I make fun of. Of course, the first thing I thought was Till the Day I Die, from Come and Get It. But this is pretty typical for Coverdale to end an album like this on a slower note. He didn't always do it, but you know, Sailing Ships, and then certainly he would do it with the albums to come. But this is just a sort of a nice way to wind things down. You know, it just feels like, okay, we've taken you on this audio journey, and here's where it ends. So I think it does its job. It's not one of my favorite of it's not my favorite of his sort of closing tracks. I think Sailing Ships is an amazing song. Sailing Ships is probably, especially the verses, that's the real Coverdale on Slip of the Tongue. That's the closest you're going to get. But anyway, yeah, this is it's a decent song, and you get to the end of it, and you want to, it's like, I'll listen. I won't listen to it again right now, but I'll listen to it again. I'll definitely listen to it again. So, I was glad, to have a new Whitesnake album to buy that was actually, hey, this is good. This is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I do really like this one. I love the closer to this album. Yeah, I think it's really great. It doesn't really change a lot in the tempo. It kind of stays the same throughout, and his vocal range, he stays in the pocket. It's kind of the same thing throughout. But I do really like it. I think it's a great song.
He's good at this type of songs. It goes all the way back to something like Soldier of Fortune. He's We Wish You Well. It's just, again, till the end of time kind of picks up steam. Or no, Till the Day I Die. Till the Day I Die kind of picks up steam. Well, there are exceptions, of course. I mean, Saints and Sinners ends with the title song, which is just a slamming song. But Don't Turn Away, the 87 album. He's really good at sort of signing off on these albums.
Don't Turn Away also picks up at the very
but saying thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, so that was good to be bad. Really, really good, solid album. I really enjoy it. This is like, I don't feel like a lot of these legacy bands really did this strong of albums like in the 2000s. A lot of them made like crap, to be honest. But I think this is really, really good. This is one of the really good ones.
It was a worthy comeback. It was like this was worth him reassembling a band and taking them. I think he kind of did it right. He assembled a band, took them out on tour, got them playing together. So it didn't sound like this does not sound like a studio project to me. This sounds like a band in the studio playing. And I think that was really smart on his part.
Yeah. Now to talk about the 4 extra songs, which are not originally part of the album proper, really.
Yeah.
It's on the bonus disc, on the deluxe.
It's the place where they fit in the best, if we're going to talk about them.
But originally it is on from this Live in the Shadow of the Blues. But on this particular version, this doesn't have them. So the repackaged version for the box set doesn't have the 4 tracks because they are on here. So so the songs, I don't have them in order because this track listing is like all over the place. But one of them is Dog.
Yeah.
The lyrics on this one is really rough.
These were, this is where the degrees of Coverdale's lyrics come into it, because it's like, well, what are you talking about? He's done these types of lyrics before. It's like, there's just something, it's too much. It's just, it's the scale needs to be dialed back a little bit. And this is, again, getting into that thing where, like, if anybody would even mention it to him, he'd make it worse. This is one of those types of songs. It sounds like somebody dared him, or I don't know. I just don't care for it. Yeah. Kind of a throwaway.
The next one is All I Want Is You, right? I think that's one.
Yeah, and I can't even think of how that one goes, because all I can think is All I Want, All I Need. Like, it just sounds like that's such an overused title, not just by him, but by anybody. I can't even think how it goes.
This is like a slower tempo song.
Yeah.
All I Want Is You.
Yeah.
It's a bit slower. I think it's all right. He did this a lot with Doug Aldrich when they did like these acoustic shows.
Yes.
Building up to the album and promoting the album. This is one of the songs they play a lot. And I do really like the acoustic versions of this. It's really great with only the guitar and David's voice.
Yeah.
This one on the album, it's all right, but it's not one of the better ones.
It's not one of his better types of songs like this, for sure. And I think there's a reason why there's no like real highlights of the 4 songs. They're just 4 songs that they were working on.
Yeah. What's the next one? If You Want Me is one of them.
Yeah.
What's the last one?
Ready to Rock.
Ready to Rock, yeah. We talk about Ready to Rock first. Ready to Rock. I think it's the same situation with Dog. I don't like this one. And how he sings, like the title of the song, Ready to Rock, and it goes up, really, it just doesn't work for me.
No. And that's the one song that's on this version. It's the last song on disc 2. The rest of the songs are all live. I think
this one is way too basic. It's like one of we always bring up this. If you ask AI to write a David Coverdale,
write me a Whitesnake song. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's one
of those. Yeah.
It's anemic. It's almost starving for more content. It's just, there's such a thing as less is more, but then there's also such a thing as less is it's just this. It's not finished. It's just not finished.
I have to say, the only bonus song of these, or the newer songs of this, that I really like is If You Want Me.
Yeah, I agree. That's the only one I think would have been worthy on a place on an album proper.
Yeah. And I love like the part in the chorus, "I'll come running," and you hear like these background vocals also from the guys.
It's almost too good to be alongside those other 3 songs.
Yeah. So, and I love also how heavy and plotting this is. I just really like it. So this is definitely the best of these 4 songs that were originally on the Live in the Shadow of the Blues.
Absolutely.
So, okay, that was all of them. That was all the 15 tracks. That went by pretty fast, Tim.
Yeah, no, it's a great album. I don't know that he bettered this album. My opinion. I don't know if he bettered it on any of the albums that followed, but I'm always glad when these veteran bands bother with new music. But this was a really strong album to announce that Whitesnake are back. There's a new Whitesnake album, and you should go get it. And I will say the cover to this album, yes, it incorporates the emblem You know, but it's different enough that you can look at that and go, you definitely know whether you have it or not. Actually, the reason
The color
the
scheme too is
yeah,
different.
the reason it's got the X on it is that it was going to be called Whitesnake 10, but as Coverdale wisely pointed out, that you count them different in different countries. It's confusing. So he just went with Good to Be Bad, but they kept the X on there, which it's cool. It's gold plated. You know, it makes a statement. I like the texture, and you know, it's good. It's good cover. It's one of the best of the latter day ones for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think Forevermore is a solid album too. I do like that one too, but I think this is better. But not by much though. I really do like Forevermore.
Forevermore is a great album
there that I don't like.
I think Forevermore is a great album musically, but it really sounded to me like Coverdale hadn't written any lyrics until he went into the studio.
Yeah. I think Forevermore has more mediocre to bad songs than this. I think this is just solid throughout.
This has a strong batch of songs, really. There's only a couple that I would have said, can you come up with something different? For the most of it, it just goes by and you're like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, exactly.